All right, good evening, everybody. At this time, if you're able to rise, please do so for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, at this time, we'll open up the first hearing and privilege of the floor. Just ask everyone, please, to follow Board Policy 1230. Please state your name and address. Adhere to our 5-minute policy. And the first hearing privilege will be 30 minutes.
Hi, everybody. Mike Charlie, 26 Sunnyside Road. I am not a sports psychologist or a great public speaker. I have a degree in actuarial mathematics and live in a world where numbers matter. I was curious as to how our performance has been over the last 12 years. All the information I've gathered is from Max Preps. I took a picture of 4 varsity boys sports and 4 varsity girls sports. Girls volleyball, soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. Boys football, soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. If you want me to send the spreadsheets, I would be happy to. In 2013, 7 sports, as there was no information on girls soccer, had a combined record of 64 and 22, with a winning ratio of 74%. Girls soccer during the 2016 through 2019 season was 51 and 12, and had a win rate of over 81%. So it's fair to say that our Tartans were winning about 3 out of 4 every games we played. For the first 6 years of the current AD, 2013 to 2018, the Tartans had some great seasons: 27-0 in basketball, 26-1 in basketball, 13-1 in girls soccer, 21-3 in girls basketball. Overall, during the first 6 seasons, we had a combined winning percentage of over 56%. For the past 6 years, our current AD, 2019 to 2024, the Tartans have 11 winning seasons out of 43 possible seasons. Our winning percentage has dropped to just 41.07%. For the last 3 seasons, the Tartans' winning percentage is 41%. The funny part is I don't care about records, good or bad, wins or losses. What I care about is that our kids have programs to be proud of, that our kids can go and compete with their friends and know that their best might result in a win. Not walk onto a field, get absolutely decimated, get embarrassed, or even worse, get hurt. Knowing in their hearts they do not have a prayer of walking away with a win. Right now, they can't do that. I've been banging this drum for over a year that we need to make some changes. Nothing has happened. The changes in communication have been weak at best. We finally put up a list of when and where tryouts are being held for winter sports on Saturday, November 14th, 2 days before they happened. It's a step, but not a large enough one to constitute change. In my opinion, it's the bare minimum of what we should have been doing for a long time. Parents before me that have moved their kids out of Scotia are reaching out and telling me this is a broken record. You can speak up, offer meaningful suggestions, and try to change things for the better, and the administration will just sit and listen, not respond, and eventually parents will go away. Problem solved. I'm not that parent. I've been to all the board meetings involving sports and will continue to ask the same question at the end. How many more of these stories do you need to hear? Before I go, I have a couple questions. I would appreciate it if they could get answered. How many current teachers or coaches at the modified JV and varsity level that are teaching at Scotia-Glenville? How many teachers have coached but are not coaching anymore? And how many varsity coaches have been involved in youth programs in any level for the past 12 years? If anybody could give me that information, that would be super helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Nobody else that would like to address the board at this time, we will close the first hearing and privilege of the floor. Remind everyone that we will have one towards the end of the meeting. And at this point in time, we have a fabulous student presentation from our Scotia-Glenville High School, Elevating Student Voices.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chelsea Murphy, high school English teacher and an advisor to the Elevating Student Voices group. It is my pleasure to introduce this group of fine young people. This is year 3 of the Elevating Student Voices program at the high school. Many of the students who are presenting to you today are in year 2 of their participation. They're here to share their message, their goals for this program, and just make you aware of the wonderful work they're doing at our high school today.
Hi, my name is Noah Esco. I am in 10th grade.
My name's Ashlyn Fisher. I'm in 10th grade.
My name is Nicole Fernandez. I'm in 12th grade.
We have a number of students who couldn't be with us tonight due to various conflicts with sports and activities. They include Alexander Bellotti, who is a junior, Lila Beedig, also a junior, Caleb Feinberg, junior, Elliot Hughes, 11th grade, Nick Padone, 11th grade, and Lillian Stewart, student facilitator, also in 11th grade.
Okay, so let's look at our agenda. 1, what is Elevating Student Voices? 2, what is the purpose of Elevating Student Voices? 3, our concerns, and 4, accomplishments and goals. Okay, what is Elevating Student Voices? Elevating Student Voices is a program that offers opportunities for young people across the Capital District to engage in constructive and open conversations about their diverse life experiences in their schools and communities, and to take a deep dive into issues that are important to them. Student facilitators are trained to lead group discussions with students from different high schools in order to gain insight into what other school districts are doing to actively promote diversity and foster an inclusive environment for all students and staff.
We have 5 purposes of Elevating Student Voices. First, to gather. Come together to discuss important issues such as race, equality, mental health, and general awareness. Second, to listen. To hear life experiences different than your own, to seek understanding, respect, and appreciation for others. Third, to build. Build our confidence when discussing all issues, furthermore, leading to these discussions in our communities. Fourth, to create. To formulate plans of action that we can implement to our schools to make it safe and welcoming environment for all. One that listens and learns from all individuals, recognizing that our differences are assets, not liabilities. And finally, to celebrate. Celebrate student efforts of embracing diversity whilst creating equitable and affirming school environments. Here are things that we are concerned about in our community: school culture, microaggression, bullying, hate speech, advocating for student supports, and creating safe, inclusive spaces.
Last year's accomplishments: attending year-long program at Capital Region BOCES, attending program summit at Proctor's Theater with keynote speaker Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado, led faculty meeting in January, promoted Black History Month and Unity Week. Elevating Student Voices goals for 2024 to 2025 school year. Share our work with you, Scotia-Glenville Central School District Board of Education. Host student circles in our building. Share diversity and inclusion related inspirational quotes with student body. Continue Unity Week celebration in April. Promote multicultural awareness and inclusivity, such as Black History and Women's History Month. Contribute to Teachers Appreciation Week.
Thank you all for your time this evening. Do you have any questions for our students?
Yes, can you just talk a bit about the circles you're leading or building and what those are?
So what we envision is recreating some of the workshops that they're already doing at Capital Region BOCES here on a local level. So maybe one of the students can give an example of their experiences with that.
Yeah, so at Capital Region BOCES, we get to meet with students from different high schools in the district, and we come together, we gather, and we have prompts for what change do we want to see, why did we come here, and generally it fosters really moving conversations, and it gives us ideas that we can bring back to our school and implement. So, yeah.
had another question because this is fascinating to me. So talk to me a little bit about the list you had. Maybe it was your third or fourth slide, Ms. Murphy, that talked about what had been identified as things you wanted to work on. Where did that list come from? Is that truly is that our Scotia-Glenville list? Is that a bigger list?
So this list came from both students at our school and the things that we came up with in our circles at Capital Region BOCES. Just talking with people from all over, we've come to, these problems that we see and we want to work on. So really everywhere.
And could I ask you one more question? Then I promise I'll stop. What do you see when you talk with other students? Are problems uniquely different? Are we more similar than different? What would you say about meeting with students from other schools and what you're seeing?
I think it gives us, like, when we meet in a circle with other schools, it gives us a unique, different perspective of other schools, and it allows us to think about, hey, this is not just happening in our school, other schools can relate to this. So it gives us, like, an opportunity, what can other schools and us can do to help improve our, workspace for students and, faculties.
And just to add on to that, these conversations, the one thing that you take away is that there's a lot of commonality between what each school is facing. But I think that overall, you really do get to see outside perspectives and see what another school is doing better that we could improve on, something that we hadn't thought of that is promoting inclusivity and diversity, just to see what other schools are doing to combat that.
About creating safe, inclusive spaces. What does that look like?
Well, I think that as far as diversity, I think we have a lot to go in regards to making it inclusive for all students. I think one way that we're trying to combat that is with the diversity TV boards that we're trying to do, inform students about different cultural holidays that are happening. But honestly, just a space where if a student is coming into the school, maybe it's their 10th grade year, that they can find a friend, that they can find a group of people to be friends with, share commonalities with. Yeah.
One thing I hear a lot of students talk about, our students and students from all over the Capital Region, is just how much our words matter. And, we can be very careless with our language. And, as students hear other students speaking in ways that are hateful, they can speak up against that type of language and promote a more positive environment just through the things that come out of our mouths. You want to add?
Also to add on, in general, when I see a safe, inclusive space, I want to go to a school that I feel comfortable about and feeling that I can express myself without having to worry about judgment, comments, or racist comments or anything. I want to be just a person who I can just go to school to learn, but also to make friends, be involved with school, and just have a good time.
Thank you for taking on this important work, and thank your friends who are also in the group too, who couldn't make it tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
very much.
so much.
Good job. At this point, we'll turn the meeting over to Superintendent Schwartz for her comments.
Thank you. The board has asked me to speak a little bit tonight about collective bargaining. They're concerned being that folks may not be familiar with collective bargaining and what that means in the workplace. So I'm going to give kind of a broad brush overview for those of you who understand collective bargaining and perhaps yourselves belong to collective bargaining groups. This will be very familiar. Scotia-Glenville has 6 collective bargaining groups, which is a lot given our size. And I will tell you that each and every one of them cares very deeply for their membership and for the things that go on at our schools and in our organization. Most collective bargaining agreements share some similarities in that you can take a look through an agreement and discover what the terms of employment are, what the right to representation is, certainly what the expectations are in the workplace, how evaluation is handled, what the grievance procedure is if in fact the employer and employees don't agree to something, certainly salary and benefits. And then for each, depending on the uniqueness of those contracts, I think, for example, of our transportation contract, which also outlines what the requirements are for drivers and that type of personnel, which are not the same as the requirements for teachers. So their contract would state those things differently. For administrators, their contracts state those things differently. But it is the blueprint by which we work with each of those groups. That blueprint describes how we're going to treat one another. When I think about the students who just spoke and what they're experiencing through elevating student voices and talking with other school districts about what they see, what they could do better, what we could do better at Scotia-Glenville, it makes me think very much of the collective bargaining process. Mr. Talbot, did I cover that? Is there anything else?
Yeah. Dean?
From that, I want to talk about a couple of things. We have certainly spent a good deal of time over the last month and a half talking about concerns around our athletic programs. Those contracts, those conversations, I think have led to some, certainly some frustration on both sides or every side, since there are people in different spots around this conversation. And as I have been listening the last 6 or 8 weeks about this in particular, and thinking about how we start moving in a different direction, I have approached the board about creating what I'm going to call an athletics council. And that council will be made up of myself, 3 or 4 coaches, at least one of whom will be a female coach, a rep from our Board of Education, a community sports rep, a DEI committee representative, a booster club representative, at least one of my secondary administrators. 2 students would be my hope who could serve. And of course, the athletic director will be part of that group. The purpose of that group will not be to have discussions about what's going wrong. The purpose of that group will be to respond to some of the things that I've been hearing pretty clearly, such as we don't provide coaches enough support for them to be successful when they're coaching. So mentoring coaches, how do we do that? Professional development for all of our coaches. Coaches have lots of professional development that they must attend, CPR, first aid, all of those things. I'm talking about those soft skill kinds of PDs. We need to work better with our community sports teams and also with our booster club. That's why they would be represented on that committee. I would anticipate that this group would do an annual review of the coach's handbook and also what happens in each of the 3 sports seasons, so fall, winter, and spring. Ultimately, I think we get to 4 meetings a year, but we probably will meet a bit more before we start that. I'm going to bring in an outside facilitator because I think there is so much friction, if you will, between folks in the district and folks in the community that we need a level-headed outside resource who can facilitate those meetings. So it won't be myself, it won't be the athletic director, it also won't be any of those myriad people who I said would become part of the team. I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks or so before we go out on winter break, approaching the groups to select someone who can serve, and then finding folks within my own organization who can serve. Do I think this is going to solve all of the problems that have been talked about? No. But I think what it's going to do is get us in a room for a back and forth conversation about specific items we can address. You know that I'm requiring that all coaches use Student Square for communications, which also gets communications to parents. We've started to roll that out. Teams that this winter don't do tryouts, for example, bowling doesn't do tryouts, those teams will start using Student Square immediately. The other teams will begin as soon as their rosters are finalized. We are trying to communicate more clearly. I hear people very clearly saying we're not a good job, doing a good job. That will be part of this group's work. But we will approach this as a community. So when I look for folks to come serve, I'm really looking for people who can do that in a positive way. People who want to move forward. Not people who want to shake their head at me tonight and say no. I'm really looking for the people who want to come forward, put aside our differences, knuckle down, and work for our kids, because not a person in this room would disagree that what we want is what's best for our kids. So that's what I will be looking for. In addition, you have heard me talk numerous times about my concerns about our declining enrollment and the fact that it will continue to decline. If you're a reader of the Times-Union, they're predicting another huge exodus out of New York State before 2050. We are not the only folks who are facing enrollment declines. So I want to start talking about what we're going to do in the face of those enrollment declines. Anyone who knows me well, certainly my board, knows that I've been looking for a pre-kindergarten or early learning center since I got here. That might be a way that we repurpose a building in the district to create that. And to that end, I'm already speaking with Ms. Giuna and Burn Hills about the possibility of working together to create a centralized early learning center. I'm going to be looking for my 4 elementary principals, certainly teachers, to come together and begin to think about that, to dream, to imagine what we could do in terms of serving underserved kids in our community. We don't currently have any preschool space, if you will, here. And how we might leverage our partnerships with other school districts to get there. And then once we have some ideas on paper, we'll be looking for folks to react to those ideas, parents, community members, to talk about what those ideas might mean for us as a school community. Those are the 2 things that are most pressing on my mind tonight, because the board knows, having heard the first fiscal projection, that we're looking at a gap right now of 1.7 million. We typically are not looking at those kinds of gaps this early in the year. We are still waiting for the outcome from the Rockefeller study about foundation aid and what's going to be done for schools, or done to schools, or done with schools. There's a push from the state for regionalization. We don't know what that really means, but one of the things I believe it means is we've got to start working together better. So those are the things I bring to you tonight. I will bring you a charge for both of those committees on December 9th, what I would anticipate they were going to do initially for the board's review and adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Now, if I get a motion, please, for item number 6.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of deposit college board rebate check and reallocated to counselor Blythe Williams for honorarium advanced placement coordinator work.
Thank you, Chad. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions, discussions on this? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or abstained? So moved. A motion for resolution number 7, please.
I'll move that we approve the agreement by and between Scotia-Glenville Central School District and Vernon Hills Boston Lake Central School District for a student enrollment exchange submitted.
Second.
I'll second.
Anyone have any questions or discussions on this one? No? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or abstained? So moved. And a motion for resolution number 8, please.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the report of the tax collector.
Thank you, sir. Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Kim. Questions, discussions on this? No. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or abstained? So moved. And a motion for resolution number 9, please.
I'd like to make a motion to increase the debt service reserve fund.
Thank you, Chad. A second.
I'll second.
Anyone have any questions or discussion on this one?
I had a couple questions for Drew. Is the debt reserve fund, is that the fund you were talking about the last meeting? That we'd be using a portion of the money for the EV bus site?
No,
Okay.
it was the repair reserve, which would come back to the general fund to go to the capital fund for the bus garage.
Okay. And then I noticed that some of the money went as far back as like 2015, 2018, and 2021. What happened in the interim that we're just moving it now?
We closed out those accounts and there was some residual funds left in there, like from interest income, so we're just cleaning it all up.
Thanks.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or abstained? So moved. If I can get a motion on resolutions 10, 11, 12, and 13, please.
I'll make a motion that we accept these resolutions. Number 10, accept the Heather Phillips Sands Memorial Scholarship. To accept and appropriate a gift and donation from the Glen Warden Elementary School PTA. To accept and appropriate a gift and donation from the Glen Warden Elementary, second one from the Elementary School PTA. And to accept a gift and donation of materials and supplies from the College of St. Rose, as submitted.
Thank you, Emma. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Kim. Do you have any questions on any of that?
I just want to comment that Heather Phillips was a classmate of mine, and she was an incredibly lovely and very kind person. And I'm so happy to see that this scholarship is here. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I had a question about 13. How did it come about that we were able to get the donation from St. Rose?
They reached out to us because of the closure to say that they had science equipment that they were willing to share, give away. And Mr. Hubble and his folks jumped right on that.
That's wonderful. Great.
Anything else? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Or abstained? So moved. Motion on communications, please.
A motion to move communications, staffing 1 through 7, and placement of children with disabilities.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions or discussions?
You said 1 through 7, 1 through 8?
1 through 7.
1 through 7.
Okay,
8 will be 7.
sorry, got it.
Good question.
Make sure it's covered.
If not, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Or abstained? So moved.
A motion to move superintendent's recommendation to approve Andrea Palikowski for elementary principal of Glen Warden Elementary School, effective date January 2nd, as stated.
A second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions?
Susan, could you give her background?
Well, Ms. Polakowski, who, please stand up, is right here, has a very broad history in education, having spent time in Schenectady, but most recently as the principal in Schoharie at Schoharie Elementary School. She comes to us very talented, very capable. Had a lovely interview with the board. They are pretty excited about her. She's a supporter of early childhood education, but that's not why we picked her. Well, might have helped me. And we are thrilled. I've known Andrea at least 10 years and have been trying to get her to come and bring her talents to us. She and Miss Frederico work together in Schenectady, so they know each other. And the elementary principals were part of the second round interview and enthusiastically supported her. So Andrea, welcome. And I would just share that Andrea's family tartan is the same colors as our tartan, the Scotia tartan. So she's clearly landed in the right place. We look forward to having you start, Andrea.
Absolutely. Now that we've already welcomed you, but we still need to vote on it.
Yes, we do. And I do have to make a correction here. It's not 10 months, 20 days. It's 11 months.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstained? So moved. Now welcome officially. Any questions on the internal claims, auditor's report, warrants, or warrant report exceptions? So moved. Any questions on budget transfers or the treasurer report for October of 24? No, so moved. Does anyone have any questions or discussions in our other business portion? We would just like to congratulate all of the Scotia-Glenville High School Student Undergraduate Awards from November 4th of 2024. Much congratulations to everybody.
I'd like to say congratulations, Scotia-Glenville and Glen Warden recently, last week and this week, did their collective food runs, and I saw some pretty big numbers there, so that was really impressive. So kudos to those kids and staff.
I saw that online today. Congratulations. Yeah, good job.
Emily and I were lucky enough on Sunday to get to see our Scotia-Glenville High School cheerleaders compete in the state finals, and very exciting that they were 5th in the state. They did an amazing job. Made me feel very old as they were lifting everybody up, and they were in sync. It was very impressive. So kudos to them.
I got a little teary a couple times, and it was outstanding.
Oh, good old. Any other business? All right. If not, we will open up the second hearing and privilege of the floor. Again, just remind everyone to please sit here by Board Policy 1230. State your name and address. And our 5-minute board policy for 30 minutes, please. All right, if there's no one that wishes to address the board, I will close the second hearing and privilege of the floor. Thank everybody for coming tonight. Those that shared their thoughts. To all my board members, thank you. And take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Do you have any questions on that? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Or abstained? We'll see you in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.